Welcome to the Rural Dispatch, the podcast delivering stories from rural America. I'm your host, Allie Behrens. Headquartered in rural Iowa, I help run a nationwide livestock transportation company, and I'm here to bring you stories from the people who help shape this industry and our rural communities. Whether you're a trucker, livestock producer, or rural entrepreneur, this show is for you. Each week, we explore the realities of rural business life, from the highways to the fields and everything in between. So buckle up and let's dive into today's episode.
We're alive, folks.
All right, welcome back to the Rural Dispatch. Today we got the infamous Mountain Dew.
I call me Grandpa.
Our grandpa. Marty, welcome.
How you doing there, Smoke?
How'd you get the day off?
Well, I think I might have broke my ankle off or something.
Oh, you think, did you just snap her or what?
Did a little bit, not too bad though.
Tell us what kind of dumb situation you got yourself into there that happened.
Well, I think I was thinking about a lot of stuff in life and stuff. I just turned and jumped down the ramp and it just kind of left me. I mean, the ankle.
The ankle left the chat.
Were you loading or unloading?
Loading. Yeah.
Where were you?
North Dakota. Well, by Dickinson. Well, we're taking that wrong.
Dickinson, North Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, you were loading replacement heifers.
Yeah. You know, everything was going great. And I thought the guy loading me hit me with a rod on the side of the ankle. I said, did you just smack me on the side of my ankle or something with a rod? I look back and he goes, what do you mean? I go, did you just smack my ankle with a rod or what? He goes, all I got's a flag. And I go, it felt more like a rod that you hit me with here. He goes, you're all right? I go, no, I'm not all right. Because I can't stand on it. Oh, then you're all right. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not all right, you know. So, okay. So I pushed the ramp in, hobbling around. So you're all right. No, I go, you just don't get this. Yeah, I got to get out of the trailer so I don't get smoked because I cannot move out of their way. So you're going to have to load the belly. And he just goes, oh, so you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine, I guess. If a broken ankle is great, I'm fine.
Did you finish loading yourself?
No, he loaded the belly after that.
He did.
I had everything loaded, the doghouse top, and I told him how to do the belly, and I grabbed the end gate, and then I hobbled, and then I got her back.
Gotcha.
Put the foot on the seat with a bag of ice and drove with the cruise control on sideways. And I said, well, the normal guy would have probably went to Bismarck, went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I'll get this home. I'll get her home. Then I called that guy down in Fontenelle, and I go, no, listen to me. I go, can you unload this trailer? I'm going to have to go pick somebody up, you know, and help me.
Well, because I told you I'd meet you.
Right. But I called him. I told you I'd call him. I go, can you unload this thing or, you know, do you want to pick up help? And he goes, I think I can figure it out. So, yeah, I got there and got backed in there. But I didn't realize that when I hit the top of those hills down by Fontenelle, you couldn't see the hood because they were that steep. Like 2 miles of just, and I'm like, you know, I got that crooked foot trying to run the foot feet, and then his yard was the same way. And I go, don't fail me now, foot. This son of a huck's got a really back that son of a bitch in the chute the first time, and then I got out, hung on the side of the trailer, and I said, oh, so I had to help him. You know, he didn't know how to run the bow bar or nothing, and then he got in there and unloaded it. But that all worked out. I got her back.
Allie, I think let's start from the beginning of time with old Marty here.
I think that's a great idea.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Marty, where are you from originally?
Iowa. Yeah, west side Iowa.
West side, Iowa.
Yeah, for 62 years.
Never left.
No. Well, you know, in the truck all the time, but never left the town, no.
What, all right, how old are you? What year are you born?
62.
62.
February of 63.
Is when you were born. So West Side, Iowa, born in 1963 to Big W.
First boy out of 3.
You were the first boy of 3.
Yeah.
What was your dad's name?
Merle Henry.
Merle Henry Wilken.
Yeah. Yeah, Big W. Yeah. He had it on his belt and everything else. Yeah.
Now, did your dad truck his whole life? When you were born, was he trucking?
Yeah. We had the second permit issued to haul for hire in the state of Iowa. Hunt Transportation had the first one, and then my great-grandpa had the second permit issued in the state of Iowa to haul for hire.
I guess I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, back then, yeah. It was H. Wilken and Son. I went to M. Wilken and Son in, I think, 1928.
So was M. Wilken and Son, was that your...
That was my grandpa. Yeah, my grandpa. Yeah.
Okay.
1928 to 1978. So they had 50 years in business when I was in high school. And yeah, they trucked. Everybody trucked. I mean, back in the day when I was like 13, we had a 55 Rios and stuff, them old trucks. And well, Grandma was supposed to drive them out of the field, and we had this old Chevy going out there, two of them. And then she goes, "Here, Mart, here's a catalog. You drive the truck back."
What'd they call you, Martin?
Oh, my grandma called me Mart all the time. Mart.
Gotcha.
So she had this J.C. Penney catalog on because this old Rio had this big old swell in the seat, and I was like 10 or 11. And she goes, "Mart, you drive the straight truck. I'll drive the old Chevy." Put that on the seat, and I get in that old 5-speed 55 Rio and drive that out of the field. No power steering or nothing. It was
So what?
Corn and beans dropping off the side. Yeah. Damn, a nice truck. Hey, have you ever seen this, Smoke? The 2-speed shifter was on the dash, low and high. That's how. But the old trucks had them on the dash where you had to switch them to the high side. On the dash, that was that switch. And then you turn the windshield wipers on right up by the windshield, them electronic ones, and they would barely move. So if you got any kind of snow, you were udged. Yeah, so they couldn't see your face. Yeah, and then them defroster systems, holy shit, you could just get blow on the windshield. Oh, you talk about no heat, oh my God. You know that old Pete cab over that the old man had at 65? You could stay warm in there. He had heaters on both sides and one in the bunk, and he could burn you out of there.
Oh.
2 different units, and that, yeah.
And that was a 65.
Pete had air ride on it. That's what Freightliner bought from Peterbilt in 1970. That little donut airbag ride, that Freightliner got the first suspension. Peterbilt had that way back when. And he had a Bostrom seat in there with no air ride. It had a cushion about this big and a spring in the bottom of it, but that thing rode pretty good.
So did you grow up riding with your dad?
Dad and Grandpa, yeah.
Were they hauling?
Livestock.
They were hauling livestock and grain.
But we all had, back in the day, we all had floor trailers because these farmers wouldn't load a pot.
What? Really? Why?
Because they hit that aluminum, it scares the cattle back, and all these guys just freaked out. So the first pot we bought was a 1966 Wilson from Denny Putin's. Somebody laid it over, they reconditioned it all, and Dad was helping Denny, and so Denny just sold it to Dad.
Wait, so all them floor trailers had wood floors?
Yeah. And then when they wear out, we just put wooden planks over them and screw them through the cross sills and nail them down. And we just kept adding floors so that the cattle couldn't step through them. But yeah, no, these farmers were so weird back then. Oh, that aluminum scares cattle, scares them. Can't load them pots. We get a few guys that load them,
So what year do you think your dad bought his first pot?
Probably 68.
Okay.
It was a 66 Wilson.
It was a 66 Wilson that got laid over.
Yep.
And he bought it in 68.
And Denny had it all redone. 42-footer. Yeah.
Oh, that was a 42-footer.
Because you had the length laws.
Oh.
So if you had any kind of conventional 42-foot. But Dad had
that of center load?
Yep. With the bars, the 2 bars that go on each side to keep them up. Oh, yeah. He had all kinds of stuff to put up on the side to get them up there. Because, yeah, he had this two big 2x4s with plywood on them to get the cattle and hogs up there. And then you had to hang all this stuff on the side.
So them trailers probably didn't have a doghouse, did they?
No. The first doghouse we had was in 74. And actually, we just bought that trailer, and your dad was just getting going. And we wasn't very busy, so your dad rented it. And he had it for like 3 months. And it was a fold-down doghouse. It folded up against the wall.
Oh.
and your dad was just getting going and needed a trailer, and we wasn't that busy, so he rented it for like 3 months. Seriously, he did. And it was from, I was a 74, and it was from Kirshner. We got it from Kirshner up there in Pocahontas. Yeah.
Is that the brand, or is that who you bought it from?
Kirshner was the guy that had it, and we bought it from him. Well, just.
Was it a Wilson?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wilson all the way back then. I mean, didn't you pull a Chamberlain or any?
Yes, but same as a Wilson. Yeah, we had a 73 Chamberlain, a 74 Wilson. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just for our audience, this is one man. He is Wilson or die. If it ain't Wilson, I don't need it.
I don't know if I've ever met a more opinionated person on what you run down the road. How did you ever end up in a white and gray truck?
I kind of like that.
You do like it.
Don't you?
I love it, but you're a blue man through and through, right?
Yeah, I got tired of it.
You got tired of it. How many years did you drive a blue truck?
Well, my dad had a 65 Pete cab over a two-tone blue. So anyhow, then I had how many Pete, and I just like, you know what? It's maybe time for a change. And then, well, that was when everything was scarce, and I was with David. He run me an option of trucks, and there were some ugly green ones and just putrid-looking trucks. Then he run this white and gray one by me, and I go, hey, the Greyhound bus, I like that color. Like, what the old Greyhound buses were painted that color. And I go, yeah, I like that. I like it.
I love that truck. I was just looking at it in the shop the other day. It's been sitting there for a couple weeks now.
Really? I wonder why. But you know what? That color, is a good grandpa color. It don't just pop out at everybody, and I could kind of go by the scales easier that way.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
You don't want to stand out like a sore thumb, do you? No, you don't need to draw attention to yourself.
All right, so...
Yeah, give it to me.
Okay, so this past year, we did an insurance renewal, and the underwriters requested years of experience from our drivers. And I remember calling you, and you said...
I started driving at 14.
Because you told me, yes, whatever the years were, you told me you started driving at 14, and the underwriters were like, well, this doesn't really add up. Can you explain that to people?
I mean, I'll tell you what, you remember old Joel Fink? We go to Sioux Falls with Hogs, and he get in the right seat and ride back with me. I was 14 years old. And I get into Sioux City to put some fuel on, and that guy would look at me getting out of there, and here's Joe waking up on the right side. He goes, I go, fill her up. And then Joe's just getting out of there, waking up. He goes, you're 14? I go, yeah.
Let's fill her up. So were them full service fuel stations or what?
Yeah, back right where Peterbilt is in Sioux City. They used to have that truck stop right across there. And, the old Peterbilt was right across the road there, of course, because it's a Love's, I guess, now.
Okay.
Do you remember that? It was an old full service. Yeah, back in the, 70s.
So you're going to Sioux Falls. Is that where?
Taking Hogs to Morale in Sioux Falls.
Oh, you're taking Hogs to Morale in Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Was that on a floor trailer?
We had that 66 Wilson, and you crank the deck down just above the belly door. And then you put a wooden deck in the top. And then that's how you triple deck that. The top deck cranked down to about a foot above the belly. And then you shove that wooden deck in the top rail.
Were you loading out of a buying station going up there, or?
NFO just got going, yeah.
There was an NFO barn here?
That's where Wickman is. That was NFO first. And Scott's dad run that for a while.
Scott Hodney's dad.
Yes. He had the most hogs that ever moved out of that place. He was running hogs out of there everywhere when he had it for the NFO. So
when we had Kluver in here, he said Denny Pudens had that buying station in Breda. And he said, they ran around all day and picked up hogs with straight truck, brought them back into the station, and then they'd load out of the station at night. Did you guys run around with straight trucks picking up?
Yeah, we did some and brought in that NFO, yeah. But I always seen them guys at Sioux City at Morale when we went up there, Pudens's trucks, yeah. And the one guy was Rinky Dink. And I had my sister with me that night, and he was like, we were all young, and then Rinky Dink, he was married with a school teacher wife, and he's asked me all kinds of questions about my sister, and I'm like, Why are you wondering about her? You're already married there,
Well,
dude.
How old were you? How old was what are you doing with your sister? Did she have a license? You didn't? Or what?
No, she just like she always went with my grandpa trucking, and she run the road map for him. Ask my other sister; she's always trucking. So she she'd go with me all the time. She still liked to go along trucking. Yeah,
Gotcha.
See, my dad knew Denny very well.
Denny Kluver, Denny Pudens.
Both of them. He was there. He was hauling with Denny Kluver back in the day.
How old was your dad when he passed away?
84.
So he was 84. But he passed away 2 years ago?
It's last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah. Year ago.
Yeah, just last summer. Yeah.
And I think Kluver said he was 81.
Yeah.
They were trucking together. He always liked Kluver. My dad, we were all together. We were hauling cows down to Missouri. And that's, when I was like 10 years old or whatever. We get down there and they unload. We're coming back. And of course, we, us kids were little, 10 years old, whatever. He bought a bunch of fireworks in Missouri because you couldn't buy them in Iowa, coming back up.
Yep.
We stopped to eat hamburger, French fries, and Pepsi. And then the old man didn't have enough money to pay for supper. So I was either Kluver or one of them guys. Well, there was a Steinkamp and there was a Kennebec, and then he knew all them guys. So they had to loan him $10 back then to buy supper because he bought too much fireworks. And we put it underneath the cubby hole, that old Peterbilt, the old open up door. Yeah, we had it all stuffed underneath there. Yeah. he overextended himself. God dang it, I got enough to pay for supper. It's like, damn.
When do you think you started driving by yourself? Okay, so like me personally, I was running after sale barn stuff, Creston, Clarinda, Dennis, and Dunlap when I was 16.
I took a 3-deck load of sheep to Albert Lee, Minnesota when I was 15 with a 1965 Diamond T with a 238.
With a 238.
And the wind was blowing that day. And Joel Fink, we had 3 loads, and Joel Fink and my dad was behind me. We had 3 loads going up there, 3 loads of sheep. And wind was blowing out of the north, and that 238 was headed north. Yeah, that don't work very well. So Joel Fink had a 238, and I had a 238. So we ran side by side, breaking the wind for each other, so we get up to 55. And I mean, we had them things to the floor.
Were them in pots?
Yeah.
Now, what was in Albert Lee where you took sheep to?
There used to be a sheep kill up there. I think it was Wilson. And Sioux Falls used to kill sheep too. We used to take them to Sioux Falls all the time. No, Sioux Falls and Albert Lee, we used to go to all the time. Because Weller, they used to raise 10,000 head a year.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So we used to haul them. Yeah. And we bought 3-deck Wilson trailers, floor trailers. We decked some of them. Oh my God, I hated them. I didn't mind the 3-deck Wilson pots that we had, but them floor trailers.
The 3-deck floor trailers.
Well, they got so top heavy, Couldn't drive too stupid. That's for sure.
15.
Yeah.
Headed to Albert Lee with 3-deck load of sheep.
He think nothing of it. Oh, you got your permit. Yeah, that's for a car.
I mean, what would it have been like if you got caught doing that back then? What would have happened?
Do you think anything?
Dad said go, so you didn't question your dad back in the day. You just went. Yeah.
Did you ever have a run-in with anybody?
Not back in the day, really. Been pretty lucky, yeah. I'll tell you what. So this one day, we're going out to western Nebraska, and it's in the wintertime, and it's just a freaking sheet of ice on Highway 20 in Nebraska. And Joel Fink, he was driving Dad's Pete, the old cab over, and I was behind him with this Diamond, the 70 Diamond, and it was just a sheet of ice. And the old man gets up and asks Joel, he goes, "Is that kid driving that truck back there?" I was like 15 on a solid sheet of ice. He goes, "Yeah, he's keeping right up." The normal guy would go, I think we maybe we're going to get some experience in there. No, they just let me drive it. Crazy, ain't it? Would you put a 15-year-old with a frickin' on a sheet of ice? It's like, just follow me, he said. Okay.
All right. Hang on.
Frozen turd behind the wheel at 15, let me tell you. Yeah, that's how I grew up. Ain't that crazy? Did you get any of that smoke before you got of age? It's icy road, or was your dad smarter than that to not do that to you?
I don't think I got any real bad weather stories, but it also would have been no shock to me that
he would have let you.
Well, yeah, let me
get going, son.
Well, I mean, because when I was 16, I was more than happy to jump in the truck and head for Creston on a Friday night for a sale barn load. I was like,
all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many loads?
Yeah.
Anymore, I'm like, really, man, it's Friday afternoon.
Yeah, let's not do this.
Can we wait till tomorrow morning?
Probably what your dad was thinking. Well, I got smoke. He could run out.
Yeah, if you don't care if I send the 16-year-old, we'll get him.
I bet he didn't say that.
We'll get him back in tonight.
I bet he didn't say that, though.
So, if my dad was renting a trailer from your dad.
I remember when he started, he was there talking to the old man. We used to have a nice, cushy, soft chairs out there, and he was there all afternoon. And I mean, the old man was an easy one to bullshit. And all of a sudden, we just bought this trailer, and Jeff took off with it. I'm like, really? He must be a good talker. That's all I can think of. My God. We just bought this trailer, and we didn't see it again. I'm like, wow.
You've known my dad your whole life, though, then.
Well, since he would just got in the business,
since you guys were about 20, because you guys are about the same age. Well, Dad would be 66, I think.
Well, do you want me to tell you that story that one night when me and him was together, and then we were going to get the pigs some 3-deck load. Jeff had the directions, wouldn't give them to me. He goes, Mark, where you want to meet? I go, whatever you say, I don't give a shit. So we're going down to Oklahoma for the pigs, and then it got raining like a son of a bitch. And then we stopped, and he got a couple beers for the, nap time. And then, okay, so I'm following him, and all of a sudden he turns down this road, and I go, God damn it, Jeff, that don't look very good. Don't go down here, Mark. And then all of a sudden he slid off the road. And I go, dude, I just pulled off the road, and I figured out that's mudded. And he goes, yeah, don't get up here. He slid up. And he goes, damn, my directions are off. I go, I don't know. You never gave them to me, so... So he's on the phone with me. He goes, shit, they'll find us in the morning. So we go to bed. I'll be goddamn if at 6 o'clock this guy ain't pounding on my door going, hey, you guys are like 20 miles off. And I go, how the hell did you find us? And anyhow, I go, no, you see my buddy up there. You're going to have to give him a little tug. And Jeff goes, get up there and start loading. I go, yeah, I didn't get in there too far because you said don't come, and I seen you sliding. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I get loaded, and then Jeff calls me, hey, wait for me. I go, okay, I'll get up here, get a shady spot. We get loaded, and Jeff goes, hey, I got a plan for you. And I go, oh, do I want to hear it? Oh, it's a good deal. I said, all right, whatever. He was a talker, he's a good talker. I got a plan for you, Mark. I'm thinking.
I feel like that's a dispatcher thing.
This is really going to work out good.
Right. Not anymore, because right now dispatching sucks. But when things used to really fall into place, I'd be like, oh, do I got a round for you? I feel like my guys just know when they hear that, they're not sleeping for like 4 days.
But you know what? When these tariffs get going around, everybody's going to come over. I think this stuff's going to turn around. I really do. You guys been watching any of that? Yeah, I think it's going to turn around. I do. I think it's going to get really good yet, and it's going to take a little bit. Yeah. Groceries ain't going to go down for a month or two, but I think it's going to get pretty good.
I feel like you're right. It's just going to take time.
It's just going to take a little bit, but it's going to get good.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have, it's going to be a lot of good export-import shit. You know what I mean? Some of these countries are going to get down to 0%. You're just going to be, shit's going to be flowing, I mean?
If nobody's charging.
Except for China, because they're screwed with them. Allie, do you get in politics at all?
No, I try not to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really.
That's the best thing not to do, probably.
I pay attention to what I have control over.
I want to tell everybody I voted for Trump, though. Can I do that? Hey, I want everybody to know that. Smoke, did you vote for Donald?
I absolutely did.
Yes. Okay, that's what yes, very good. I think Mr. Peterson might have.
Oh, you think Mr. Peterson did?
Yes.
Wait a sec.
He is a legal voter.
I guess I never thought about that. Since he's a felon, I guess
you're saying that on the air?
Just say it right out loud.
He's
my God. Very good guy, Mr. Peterson.
Wait, which one? We got the whole fucking, we got the whole
That's
family.
right. You do have a slur of them.
We got the whole fucking family that works for us.
That's for sure.
They're like, well, fuck it. If my uncle has liked this for 15 years, I'm surely going to like it.
No, Smoke, they're saying they're taking you over. Didn't you hear that?
I did not, but
Peterson Dispatch here.
when can
No,
they
I'm
start?
just messing with you.
When can they start?
Please, come on in.
That would be a good time.
I feel like this microphone is really big.
Well, you got big fucking mouth, so we have to make a big microphone. You were working for your dad. Were you driving that blue 359?
Brand new in 1986.
1986. You're driving that
And
blue
it's still over there.
359. And were you pulling that hopper?
Well, pot and hopper, yeah.
Okay.
But I had that feed haul, so I had to take care of that. I got that feed haul from Triple F to Denver, so
Right.
that's what I was doing.
This is you talk about this every week. Now is not a time to not talk about this, how you pulled that hopper to Denver.
Yeah, hopper, Triple F feed, dog food. They got to know me out there, and I was just hauling all kinds of stuff out there and that feed mill. Yeah, all they had to do was meet me, and I just started hauling everything for them.
Because tell us about this. I think you've told me when I've asked you before, how did you end up with Tim Vogel? And you said, well, my dad was paying me $300 a week. Is that correct?
$350.
$350 a week. And that was in what year?
93 probably. But he wanted you to work 7 days a week. I was married, and then just, you know what I mean? He'd just get on you. And, I mean, he'd be on you at 7 o'clock Saturday morning if you're in the fall, you know, and it's like, what's the incentive to keep busting your ass for $350 a week, right? After you've been running all week.
Gone all week, come home.
And then in the fall, you're supposed to go at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're supposed to get there and run till 8 o'clock Saturday night, and you're still getting $350. So I might go out and drink some on Friday night. I was going to get there maybe 10 o'clock and run till 6, you know, and still making money. Then we got into it, you know, because we were both strong-headed. I just went on there and take the CB and stuff out of my truck, and I said, there you go. There you go, buddy.
Let's find somebody else to do it for $350. Did you go to Tim Vogel then, or did he come to you, or did you know Tim?
I knew Tim, forever. That was on a weekend. So then by Wednesday, Tim Vogel was putting up that building at that time over there, that shop. I might have been the second time because the one time the tornado took it down. You only had to put it up twice because the tornado or whatever, the high winds took that all down. They had it about set up and it all blew that shit down. You remember that? Well, you probably don't. No, you don't. But anyhow, they had to put it all back up. And anyhow, he just got that thing going and everything. And he had all them guys working for him and shit at that time. They had all them trailers going. And I just stopped in there to talk to him. I wasn't looking for no job. And it was on a Tuesday already. And I just went in there and talked to him. You know how he was. He already had me convinced into coming over and hauling a load of fat cattle to Dakota City on Wednesday morning. Okay. Now I guess I can do it, you know. So I get up there and...
Well, is that kind of like one of them deals? Well, if you ain't doing nothing, you might as well...
Well, yeah.
Load of fat cat.
Yeah, he just got me talked into it. And, yeah, I never put it down anything or nothing. You know, I mean, as far as, you know, hiring a driver at that time? No.
Like an application or paperwork.
Right. Nothing. Just come out here and okay, which one you want to drive? Well, he had that slope nose. I said, don't drive one of them. And he had that 94. And I go, I guess I'll drive that one then. He was driving that slope nose. Nah, I ain't driving that. So I got up to Dakota City. Well, why don't you call me? Okay. Up here. Got a load of cattle out up here. Then we ended up going to Red Oak, getting sows. And then I ended up in Illinois getting cattle. So then anyhow, I made like 6 goddamn loads by Saturday night with him. What are you doing next week? He just kept, you know, Timmy, he just got kind of, yeah. Wasn't even looking for a job and got one.
People want you on their team. That's the whole thing about it.
Oh, we had fun back then. Me and him were pretty close in age, so we got along good.
Now, how many employees do you think he had back then when you started?
Oh, he had a lot.
Oh, he did back then already?
Because he had all them 4-deck trailers. He was going to... Everybody had, and he had to have 2 guys going to North Carolina for Murphy. So, man, he had to have...
Were they running North Carolina in 94 when you started?
Woody was driving. Woody Vanami was driving there in 94. Top dog.
I did not realize that they were running 4-deck stuff already back then.
I think he had 8. 8 or 9 4-deck.
How long before he had you talked into running 4-deck North Carolina? I mean, you did that forever. And back then, nothing was a wean pig. Everything now is 4-deck wean pigs.
Yeah, we were doing feeder pigs.
Everything was feeder pigs back then. They weighed, between 40 and 60 pounds. Everything. I mean, everything was a feeder pig.
And I had Ron Sundrup's old driver go with me, old Benny Wessel. He go with me. He good old boy. Yeah, he is a good old boy. And then JoJo Schrader, Schrader Farms.
Yep. Steve Cook.
And I had a couple other ones that were pretty good. Steve Brandt went with me. Steve went with me. He had a little lisp.
I
Loved to watch John Wayne and the bunk, and they turned that son of a bitch up like I thought I was getting shot all the time because they had a TV way up back there. Oh my God! And then when we got back, Brant getting a little officer, and they had a bottle of whiskey, and then he'd get out and just start chugging on that. And then Tim would come in there and he goes, "What are you doing, Butterbean?"
What's the craziest thing you've seen on the road?
They arrested me in Kentucky. So,
what?
Yeah, they arrested me in Kentucky with a little cattle on. They said I was speeding. I thought it was kind of crazy. It's 108 degrees. I had a load of cattle on, and Officer Barney Fife come up beside me, and he wanted to see my logbook. And then, of course, I was on my second round out of Kentucky in a row, but it was on the day and everything. He's like, "Well, you're out of service here." And I said, "I took 2 logbook classes." And I said, "I don't think so." And he goes, "Yeah, you are. And you got to get somebody to unload your trailer." Well, I'm on a 3-way, one-way interstate. Oh. And somebody's supposed to come get back, 12 miles down the interstate and unload my trailer? I go, "Yeah, I don't think so." And he slams my right door, about breaks the glass. So I met him at the back of the trailer with my logbook. He had a gun. I had a logbook. He pulls out the gun. "We're going to shoot me." I go, "Okay, Barney Fife, I've got a logbook. You got a gun. I'm going to show you here. Get down in the prone position." Okay, 5 frickin' times. He tells me to get down. I said, "Barney Fife, you can go yourself." So anyhow, here comes 5 more highway patrolmen. So then I'm in the weeds with knees in my back and getting tased a little bit to slow me down. And "Wow, you're all jacked up." "Oh, yeah." So then they searched my truck. I said, "Dig through. There ain't a goddamn thing in there. Dig her through, buddy."
Here's what I remember about this story. They always said, "You got anything in your boots?" He goes, "Yeah, my feet." "Yeah, my feet."
Well, they just go, "You're all jacked up. You're all jacked up." Well, yeah, I didn't say, I'm on my second row around the row without sleeping, but I got to say anything else,
Is that when they own the buying station in Carroll?
Dump, come back, load, and go back, get another load.
As fast as we could to New Bern.
Yeah, and then if you got unloaded, you had to go 300, 400 miles, get unloaded, and go 1,000, and then just got back and go back on another one. And if the shit was clicking, you
got anything in your boots.
So they arrested you.
Yeah. The best thing is I get into jail, and this lady, about your age probably, she got in there, and she had, 25 nose rings, earrings, clip rings, everything. Everything's got to get out in this tray, and I'm like, "Wow, you got a lot of jewelry." This whole tray is just full of shit and jewelry. And I said, they asked me for my piercings. I go, "I ain't got any." I don't know. I guess I'm outdated here a little bit. Damn.
Yeah, but Marty, Kentucky is not the only time you have gone to jail on the road.
No, I was down there in Oklahoma, and they thought I might have had to go
over intoxicated yourself.
No,
well, that's what
I think it was that one driver you hired that got me in trouble. He got me all going that night, and I started mouthing off, and then, of course, I had the failure to shut my mouth when the cops got there. Maybe,
that's
failure to shut your mouth when the cops get there. I think that was the thing.
Oh, failure to shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Well, that does tend to happen to you.
Yeah.
You don't know when to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's even sober, Marty.
Okay, so there was 2 times we went to jail on the road, or is there more than that?
No, I was on a couple.
Okay. I mean, over the span of your career, that's not so bad. What do you guys do to pass the time on the road?
Oh, my God. I mean, my phone time on the road is ridiculous.
When do you think you got your first cell phone?
Tim had that bag phone. Remember them bag phones? What was that, like $100 a call? That was like a gold member number. Well, if that thing rang, you had to answer it, though. But no, that was the first one. And that was in the 90s. And then Tim, he got the cell phones because he wanted us calling.
So he bought all the drivers.
At first, yeah. But then, he don't want you to take them, didn't want you to use them and stuff, for your own. So then I went down to Des Moines and got an AT&T.
So who knows what years they started with the cell phone? I mean, I don't know, late 90s?
No, I'd say maybe before that.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
why fucking ask, Marty? Because I don't know.
Well, I can't remember exactly, but I'd say in the mid-90s. And then the best part was, goddamn old Dale Young was driving for Tim down there in Florida with a reefer, because he had a reefer too. And then
Tim had a couple reefers?
Yeah. This Dale, he was down there in Florida. And then this girl, while he was talking to me, this girl, well, lot lizard, come up and wanted to use his phone right where he was talking to him, and she took it and ran off with it. He calls me back on this goddamn collect number, and I go, well, you better tell Donna. Oh my God. I go, yeah, it's going to be a bad phone call for you. That goddamn whore took off with his phone. Fucking old false teeth talking to her on the phone, and she takes off with his phone. I go, man, you're dumb. No shit. And I mean, like, wow, there goes my phone. Yeah, that wasn't good for you.
What do you do at that point? You just sit there and watch it walk away or what?
I was helping this lady buy her groceries, and she took my phone. Or not. Yeah, Dale.
Yeah, could you imagine making that phone call to Donna?
Oh, you want to hear another good one with this? So we got this first spread. One of the first spreads come out, and how Dale got that brand new spread. And, Joe Boynes?
Yep.
He's behind him over there in Denison. And this fucker, he had Mod Squad 70s yellow glasses on and this yellow headband on with this load of hogs, and he's backing in the chute, and he calls up Tim and goes, who's this fucker from the Mod Squad? You got time for you? This motherfucker is, he's got the yellow headband, these yellow glasses on. He is from the 70s, that cat.
You know what? I know who you're talking about.
Dale Pumachunk.
He drove for HS Farms for Greg Simons, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Pumachunk.
Yes.
Puma.
He still had them fucking yellow glasses in goddamn 2010.
So the one day, I guess he bumped his noggin, and he forgot to load one compartment, and the trailer was 29 head of hog short. The front compartment of the belly was empty. Everybody screws up, but... Well, they got in a wreck out there, him and this Gutch. They got in a wreck out there in California, and then they started trying to chase this guy down that sideswiped him out there, and they both left the truck, tried chasing this guy down that sideswiped him. Then Dale calls in, one of us ain't coming back. One of us ain't coming back.
All right, tell us about Canada to Mexico.
Well, absolutely knew nothing about paperwork, and they give it all to you. So you get down in Detroit, and you've got this library of papers. So anyhow, they got to check ear tags on your cattle to get out of Canada.
Okay.
And this gal was absolutely a bitch. She just chewed me up and down. Give me this, give me that. And I'm looking through a magazine full of papers trying to figure out what she wants, because I'm supposed to know what to give her, And she just kept getting madder. And she went out and checked my tags and everything. And then I got to go to this place. And it's like a high school building. I got to go here. I got to go there. I got to go there. And it was getting down to the line. Like at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, I go, fuck it. I'm just going to go fishing up here in Canada, and we'll come back tomorrow. Or Monday, I don't care. Finally, let me go. They got, they went through and got my paperwork. Then you go down there and you got to unload them in Oklahoma. And then they've got to seal your trailer, unseal your trailer, seal your trailer. They got to check the paperwork. You load them back up. Same thing you get in Mexico. Okay, the federales down there, after everybody gets them loaded up, then they let you across the border. When everybody's loaded back up, and they got to check the tags down there. Oh my God. It's a long process. When you get all one of them loads from Canada to Mexico, you better just figure it's going to be a week. And then you got to get your trailer washed out.
Before and after. And
before you get out of Mexico, and you can have a piece of shit on a hinge. Nothing.
Just spotless.
Nothing.
Okay. So I don't think I ever loaded out of Canada. I remember riding along anyway. I mean, we hauled a lot of cattle to Laredo.
Did you go across?
Yep. Remember when they went to wash you out? It was like a garden hose for fucking pressure. But these trailers had to be spotless. They were supposed to be pretty much power wash trailers, but they had like garden hoses, and they're brushing the insides of the trailers, and
with
they're
the brush, yeah.
with the brush, and they're washing it back off with the guard hose, and then they're brushing some more.
Oh,
Lord.
And guess what? Before these guys go home, they jump in this diluted ass water and take their bath in it, and then they go home. And their hair is all greased down with shit. And oh wow, we're going home. Nice. We always brought them a case of classic Coca-Cola. Classic Coca-Cola and a
cans?
Yep.
Okay.
They wanted classic Coca-Cola and a $20 bill. And the cattle buyers already paid for it, but that's just what you took down so that you were secure when you got down there, they'd take care of you. Now, if you didn't, you might be laying out in the parking lot in the morning and everything's out of your truck, because if you didn't take care of them, they didn't take care of you. That's how that went. Yep.
So how far into Canada and Mexico did you go? Just
well,
right
I was up in
or?
London, Ontario somewhere. I got up to the sale barn and I followed Canada trucks, and they knew how to get around the scales and everything. And I was up there a ways, yeah. And I just got up to where I needed to go and met these Canada trucks. I followed them around and got back into Detroit.
Remind me, how did this work in Laredo? I delivered to Laredo one time, I think, when I was driving myself. You unloaded at the pens. They checked them, would check ear tags and paperwork and this and that, and then you'd load them back up after they checked them.
Then you waited for the federales.
Okay.
The federales had to let you go in. So then you got into Mexico and you got all this paperwork, and then I have no idea what I got to give them. I just okay, let's see. Let's get to something that looks like Spanish and then give that to them. And then, okay, go to the third naked statue, take a right, and then get to the naked statue with the horse, and then take another right. And then I'm like, wow, this is like a lot of naked statue shit going on down here. And then they got this place they called Cardboard Town. That's where these Mexicans lived, in these cardboard boxes along the river down there. Yeah. I called it Cardboard Town. But you had to check your trailer in the morning because these Mexican families would go in the doghouse and hide. And we had to actually pull a family out of the doghouse. Hank, they called him Hank.
Old man Hank. Yep.
Okay, well, so we had to go up there and pull these people out of his doghouse. This little baby, the man away.
Oh, my God.
And Hank comes, come on. We got to pull these people out of there, and they're going to go nice. So we opened up the doghouse, and we had to literally pull them out of there. I grabbed one, he grabbed the other one, and they weren't going to go. They was hid way in the corner of the doghouse. They weren't going to go.
They wanted to come back across into the United States that bad.
See, I didn't even know anything about that. They hid in your, because I looked at my trailer a little bit, and then that's when he goes, hey, check your trailer. And I'm like, wow. Then we had to pull him out of his trailer. Like, wow. Hey, he's for somebody you want to go.
Do you remember when we were hauling all them cattle to Laredo? Remember, they'd always fill our doghouse with square bales of hay.
Yep.
And then there was times, this is when like computers were starting to be, we were smuggling computers into Mexico. They were putting computers, they were always putting square bales of hay in the doghouse.
Who was?
The ones you loaded for to feed the cattle.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a couple times they were putting like new computers in the middle of these square bales in the doghouse because they knew they could get them in because you were loaded.
But yeah, this hay, they said, goes to Mexico. That's all they ever told me. They filled the doghouse with that's hay. So we get down there right south of Waco to that, what was that called? West Texas. Texas? So we had to drop him a lot of times there. So I can't remember. We called him Snort because his nose was so big because he snorted so much cocaine in his life. I think he was driving for DMT. Anyhow, he gets down there and he unloads his hay in West Texas and feeds his cat. And then Snort tells me, hey, he goes, was we supposed to feed these cattle down here? I go, not with that hay. Then he goes to me, he goes, hey, Mountain Dew, I'll run the front door because I've got Doppler radar. I go, that's a shit for the fucking weather. I got Doppler radar. Just follow me on through Austin here. I got Doppler radar. All right, bud. We got down there south of San Antonio. We always took a shower when we went in there. And then Or he's running across the parking lot with 2 cases of regular Coca-Cola underneath his arms, just booking across there. And I'm like, wow, Snort, you're not right.
Why so fast?
I don't know. He said he was in jail down there for like a year or so before they let him out.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
We get down there, and he's got the hookers going to the back right away. As soon as we get down to the bar, he's down there. Because it took all day out to get the trailers washed out. So they said, you just back around there and go up to Boys Town. We'll come get you.
Well, I suppose it did take all day.
Yeah, with garden hoses. I feel like we did for a long time took dairy cattle to Laredo. I mean, that was like weekly we were taking dairy to Laredo.
Well, when I was with Clausen, all winter I was doing Santa Teresa. Then we'd scoop out in the ditch right there by the Mexican border.
Were you hauling to Santa Teresa or loading out of Santa Teresa?
Both. We'd hauled in and loaded out. We'd take cattle up to Green Bay and load like 80 miles out of there, rip on, and come back down to Santa Teresa. I did that a lot of winters.
Rip on to Santa Teresa.
And then you remember old Hicks?
Yep.
He might have been on a kill or two in the day, and so he didn't make it the week before. He just got that new spread that time. Just got that new spread, so I don't know when it was, in the 90s. He's got that new spread, and yeah, I think he had a green Pete that time. But anyhow, he conked out on the way down, didn't make it, and they made him haul him back to Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the next week, he loads with me and these other guys, and they go, we're going to make the fastest trip ever down there. So we took turns running the front door. They just floored it the whole way down there. I mean, and the one was, what's his name? He's got, he had his own company down there in Missouri, right there over the border.
Gary Ewing.
Gary. Idaho. They called him Idaho. And oh my God, he get in the truck stops, just shoot everybody's ass out. And then that time he was driving Randy's truck because, I don't know, he was having divorce issues and everything else. He had that old 4 1/4, that blue one, and he just kept
short nose.
He kept that thing floored the whole way down there. And it had 308s. So when he got her moving, we're all back there running 85 or so. 308 a goddamn thing. Okay, we just floored him all the way down there. And Chad just got that brand new trailer and that truck that time. And then, I don't know, he was all in his coveralls and everything. So I moved his truck out of there, and I was grabbing a couple gears, and he was all giving me shit because I was driving that truck and that trailer out of there, grabbing a couple gears. God, you're an idiot the way you drive. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm just giving me shit.
Okay. Did you rest them from Wisconsin to Santa Teresa? Where'd you rest that going to Santa Teresa?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't rest going to Santa Teresa?
Mm-mm. Well, Chad did for 14 hours a week before. That didn't work very well.
I'm surprised they let him come back the next week.
Randall was on him. He was excited. We got to make this, man. We got to make this. Well, that was your screw up, not mine, bud, but okay.
There's a lot of RC stories out there.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the shit you guys did for him. I remember running when Melon Camp first started over in Dyersville. We ran Tijuana every week.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice but to truck. You had no other option. That is just what you were born and bred to do, is drive truck.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What else would you do, you think?
Well, I can't help you with the producers because I'm not that smart, so I will be out, I guess. Yeah, I can't run the computer.
There's literally nothing else you could do, is there?
Well, I don't know. I could go to Walmart or something.
Could drink whiskey.
I'd be very good at that.
You would. As a dispatcher, you always got to make sure Marty half-ass knows when he gets home on a Friday morning. If you even remotely think he has to leave on Sunday, you better be telling him Friday, like, Marty, there's a chance you're going to be leaving Sunday. So at least answer your phone by fucking 7 o'clock Saturday night. How long have you been under Behrens dispatch?
Yeah.
Ever since Jeff goes to Donna, that maybe I ought to just do that and you ought to wash the clothes.
Wait a second.
Oh, Jesus.
Tell us this story. What?
When Jeff was going over there to wash out quite a bit and stuff,
Okay.
And she was always, nosing in there, and he's just like, maybe I ought to just dispatch them trucks and you go ahead and wash the clothes. And that's kind of the way it went. Yeah. At least the last 5 to 7 years that I wasn't telling her where I was going. Since he was hauling them hogs out of Carroll Station, that's about when that started. I don't know when that was.
I'm not sure either. I graduated in 06, and I feel like we were doing it. We were hauling them hogs out of the Carroll Station in 2006. So, I mean, that's going on 20 years. I tell you what, though, you worked for Tim for how many years?
23 years.
23 years you worked for Tim. I mean, that's a long time.
That's because me and him were buddies, you know.
Right. But, you know, I'm going on 38 years old, and I think Pork started working for me when I was 22 or 23. So Pork has been here for 15 or 16 years, which is awesome.
I was right there when he got out of prison, running with him, them cattle to the boat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was, here.
Yeah. So, okay.
So I was already, that was when he was so huge. And then
he was a big dude back then.
So then.
You remember he got out of prison and that fucker just blew up.
Okay. So then I'd get on the side of his trailer because he was too big to climb up there. You know, because, I was young, and I'd climb up on the side of his trailer and get his cattle. But, okay, so, you know, he's so largely big at that time. So me and him and Huck pull into this, you know, plaza on the turnpike. Because we had been up all morning and was going to the boat, and let's get a little breakfast. Of course, that was my idea. Hard to believe.
I know it wasn't Pork's idea to fucking stop and sit down and eat a meal, not loaded anyway. That's definitely a Mountain Dew idea.
Yeah, it was. Anyhow, so he has 2 breakfasts with double gravy, extra peanut butter, and I'm like, I go, really? Oh, he just went off on me. Of course, you know, he didn't get nothing in prison now, see?
Well.
And he was really craving it when he got out.
Mm-hmm.
So, double breakfast with extra gravy and peanut butter. I'm like, dude. So, I mean, we scarfed the shit down fast, and we got going, and they were looking for us at the boat. It was ready to dock, take off, and then, we got all kinds of phone calls. Where are you guys at? He had the helmet truck. I don't remember what Hook was driving, but anyhow, I was behind him. Of course, I wasn't, you know, I could roll, and I went right on by them, too. I go, we got to move, boys. Pork's like, I'll get there.
Does Smoke ever get snappy with you?
Yeah, but I don't care. I don't.
Oh, well, that's a good attitude to have.
I've had my ass chewed my whole life. My dad, oh my God, you think oh my God, that's nothing. I grew up in Big W Merle School of snappiness. Yeah, that wasn't snappiness. That was nobody could compare to that cat.
Marty,
right.
I don't think I ever get snappy with you. The problem is you have no sense of urgency. Like, you fucking tell you something, you're like, well, all right, dude.
I'm gonna have breakfast first.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a little lunch here, and
and then
we gotta eat. Yeah, that's what Tim Vogel always told me. You gotta eat. Well, we gotta eat.
And I'll be like, well, that's fine, but you have a 8 a.m. dock tomorrow morning. Well, dude, I just do what I can do, I guess, you know. And it's like, well, if you didn't take 2 fucking hours to go eat breakfast right now, you'd have a lot better chance of making it.
Yeah, I have a little victual.
I want to tell you Marty's go-to lunch and supper on the road. Hamburger steak, baby. Got to get that hamburger steak in ya.
Hamburger steak. That's the best thing to eat, huh?
Oh, it's the best thing to eat. That's, a very good diet. Yeah.
And it hasn't failed you yet.
No, I'm still alive, so that'd be good.
For all you truckers out there on the road, if you're looking for the go-to meal for the last 40 years, you cannot go wrong with the hamburger steak.
Eggs.
Every meal. Like, if you ask Marty, well, dude, you got unloaded at Greater Omaha? Yep. Did you go eat breakfast? Yep. Because you already knew he did, but you had to ask him, what'd you eat? If he tells you anything besides hamburger, steak, and eggs, you're like, whoa, dude.
You feeling okay?
You changed it up.
Yeah, that's right. Good stuff, man. I tell you what, I've never been on a podcast, fellas and girls, but this is different.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Rural Dispatch. I hope you found something valuable to take back to your own operation. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. You can keep up with me between episodes on socials at Behrens & Co. or join our email list on our website to get new episodes delivered straight to your inbox every Wednesday. Until next time, keep those wheels turning. We'll talk soon.